Well, hey there. My name is Nona Jones. I'm a preacher, I'm a business leader, and I'm also the author of Killing Comparison. I always feel so excited when I get to turn my attention to the verse of the day with you, and we're going to be in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 31. If you've been in the church for longer than 30 seconds, you've probably heard this verse. It says, "What then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us?" In other words, if God is on our side, there is no earthly man, there's no being that can oppose us. And we know this in our head. It makes us really excited. But I think if we were honest, some of us don't believe this in our heart. And that's made evident by the fact that we see other people as a threat to our ambitions, into our dreams, into our goals, and even to our purpose. I think back on the familiar Bible story of Saul and David. This is a perfect example. So Saul, if you know the story, Saul was made king by God. There was no prior king in Israel, but the prophet Samuel made Saul king because God decided to make Saul king. And yet, this young shepherd boy, David, defeats Goliath when Saul is king. Saul enlists him in his army. David becomes a mighty warrior. He wins many battles on behalf of Saul. And when they're returning to the city one day, people are celebrating. They're excited because there was victory in the battle. And Saul overhears the people singing, "Saul has killed his thousands, and David his tens of thousands." The Bible says that from that moment, from the moment Saul heard the people celebrating David, he began to eye David. He saw David as a threat. And as a matter of fact, if you fast forward a little bit in that story, Saul gets into an argument with his son Jonathan, and he says to Jonathan, "Do you not know that as long as the son of Jesse, as long as David continues to live, neither you, Jonathan, nor your kingdom will be established?" In other words, Saul says to Jonathan, the kingdom that God gave me is threatened by this man, David. You see, Saul forgot what so many of us forget. Whatever purpose God places on the inside of you, there is no man on earth that is a threat to it. Because if God is for you, who can be against you? Stop feeling insignificant. Stop basing your qualifications on what somebody else does or doesn't do. Stop feeling like you don't measure up and you don't matter and you're not good enough because of what somebody else does or doesn't do. If God is for you, who can be against you?